Okay, my name is Kirk Voclain. I am from the big town of Houma, Louisiana. That is approximately 50 miles southwest of New Orleans, in case you don't know where Houma is. And believe it or not, there is something southwest of New Orleans, and that's Houma, Louisiana. That's where I'm from. I do not live in the ocean. I do not live in the Gulf, but I live really close. That's where I'm from. The water, actually we live under the water. No, okay, so like New Orleans is literally in a bowl. I don't know if you knew that or not, but and Houma is like, I think about 10 to 20 foot, like above sea level. It's not much, so yeah. Okay, let me think. I did my very first wedding when I was 15 years old. I actually got my first camera when I was 8 years old by saving up the Kellogg's Corn Flakes breakfast cereal. It said, you know, save your box tops and get a camera. And so I did, and I took pictures of my sister and all that stuff like that. But when I was 14, 15, somewhere in that neighborhood, a friend of mine had this awesome SLR, and I wanted one of those so bad because I just thought it was the coolest thing I'd ever seen. And so I got a paper route, I worked on it for 6 months, and I saved up my money, I got me an SLR, and a buddy of mine says, "Hey, you got one of those fancy cameras?" I'm like, "Yeah, SLR." And he says, "Well, will you take pictures at my wedding?" And I was like, "No way, I'm not, no." And so he just wouldn't take no for an answer. And so I kept begging him, you know, just leave me alone, till finally I thought to myself, the only way I can get this guy to understand no means no is if I gave him a price and made that price so high and so far astronomical out of the universe that there's no way he would say yes. And that's why he says no. See, so he would say no. So the next time he asked me, "Hey, would you do pictures of my wedding?" I said, "Yes." He said, "How much?" And I said, $100. And he said, "Okay." And so now I gotta do it. And so I was 15 years old. I know that for a fact because I did not have a license to drive. And my dad actually had to drive me, you know, to the church and to the reception. And anyway, I remember being at the reception thinking to myself, holy cow, I just worked 6 months to save up $200 to buy a camera, throw in newspapers. I just worked a couple of hours doing what I love more than anything else and made $100. This is what I want to do forever. So that's how it all started. Some of you guys have seen my programs and stuff like that, and I say I'm the coolest studio in town, and what I mean by that is just fun to be photographed by me, and so I try to make it as fun as possible, and that's what everybody says. You know, my clients, they'll leave and they say, "Oh, Kirk, these pictures are gonna be so good." How do you know? You know, you never saw anything, but it's because they had so much fun. And if people have fun, and it's been said a gazillion times, if they like the photographer, then they like the photography. So that's it. I mean, I make people like me, and if they like me, then they like the photography. So remember that. I mean, if in your world, if you can get people just liking you, well, that's like 90% of the problem. The rest, is easy. I don't know it used to be, I guess, that I could do outside stuff, but you know, now it's like so funny about the world that we live in. That world constantly turns, you know, and now everybody and their brother has a camera, and they don't have studios, so everybody does outside pictures. Now I've noticed that to be the unique guy, you're the guy who can shoot inside of a studio and know what to do with lights and things like that. So I don't know if that's really anything of uniqueness about me, but I mean, I can do anything. I mean, goodness, I'm 52 years old. I've been photographing since, like I said, since I'm 15 years old. So, I mean, there isn't a problem, there isn't a situation, there isn't anything that you can come up with that I probably, haven't experienced, done before, and solved the problem. So, does that make me wonderful? No, but I mean, it comes with experience. So I guess that's kind of a unique thing now. I have crossed over and become the experienced old guy, and so as opposed to the young crazy guy. And so I don't know, it's a good place to be in that there's not a situation that I can't handle. So I guess that's it. But hey, give me a week, it'll be something else, because it's constantly turning. Okay, my dad asked me that whenever I was very young, and I started talking about I want to be a professional photographer, and he said, so you're going to work for yourself, you're going to work for somebody else? And I said, oh, I'm going to work for myself. He says, well, you do know the 3 secrets to being successful. I said, no. He said, well, how are you going to be successful if you don't know the 3 secrets? And I said, well, do you know the 3 secrets? He said, yeah, I know. Well, are you going to share the 3 secrets with me? He said, sure, son, sit down. You sit me on the sofa, put his arm around me. He says, well, secret number 1. Now, I'm assuming you want me to share with your audience the 3 secrets?
Yeah.
Okay, secret number 1. That's what my dad said. Number 1, get the money. Secret number 2, get the money. Secret number 3, get the money. If you can do that, you can be successful. And, it's kind of humorous, and it's funny that he told me that, but there's a lot of truth behind it. As professional photographers, sometimes, we love what we do. This is a hoot to do. It's so fun. But it's not a hobby, God dog it. This is a business. So get the money, get the money, get the money. I really feel very, very fortunate in that someone did not necessarily tell me this, but I did do it. If you're getting started in this business, if you're sort of young at this business, do not get yourself heavily in debt, okay? Because we got the coolest toys in the professional photography world. Hey, I just bought a drone. How cool is that? A thing that flies in the air with a camera, and I can take pictures and video in the air, that's the coolest toy on the planet. But do not get yourself in debt. Pay this stuff off. If you buy something, you buy a new $2,000 lens, that lens better make $2,000 before you go buy something else. Make the things, the toys that we buy, make those things make you money and make them pay for themselves. And that's actually how I did it. I did do that, and as a result, I sort of, through the years, stayed debt-free. Now, in my older years, I don't owe nobody nothing, and it's a cool place to be. And so that's my recommendation. If you're getting started in this business, look, we got the coolest toys, but do not get yourself in debt. Okay, yes, when it comes to softbox size, okay, there's huge, there's big giant 4x6 and 6x8 and monster softboxes. They got some of these companies that make softboxes as big as a room, okay? And then there's the little bitty tiny softboxes, little softbox this big, okay? And then there's different size umbrellas and all this stuff. So, I don't know if you're like me, but when I first started messing with all that stuff, I'm like, well, which one do I buy? Well, think about this. The closer you are to something, the bigger it becomes. The farther you are from something, the smaller it becomes. So ask yourself, let's pick on the sun, for example. How big is the sun? Well, if my hand is the sun in relation to the earth, the earth is just like the point of this pin. That's it. That's how big the sun is in relation to the earth. So is the sun big? Oh, the sun is huge. But it's 93 million miles away from the earth. as a result, is the sun a big light source or a little light source? It's a very little light source, even though it's actually huge in size, but it's so far away. So think about that when it comes to softboxes. If you want a nice, beautiful, even, glowing type look, then you're gonna need either a huge softbox that's kind of far away, or you're gonna need a relatively medium-sized softbox that's really, really close to the subject. So that's my trick. Just kind of take note of that, where that softbox is. You have a 4x6 softbox that's right up against the customer, say, I don't know, 4 feet. That's a pretty doggone soft light. Now you take that softbox and you back it up 20 feet and it now becomes a little bitty old tiny softbox. So for it to be the same size, man, you would need, I don't know, 10, 20 feet probably softbox to get to the same size if you backed it up 20 feet. So that's my shooting tip for the day.